This is just a quick video of a sort of flow through wormery I'm making. It's based on the Hungry bin, which is a kind of continuous flow through wormery. What I've got on here, the lower part is a cut down 55-gallon HDPE drum, and I've cut it. I'll probably get a tape measure. That's 18 inches, and then I've cut down a panel which is 9 inches, and that's the sort of harvesting door. And I had a couple of these, well, just one of these. It's called a green cone, and they market it as a sort of compost biodigester or something like that, or a solar digester. And this is actually inverted. It looks like a kind of conventional Dalek, but underneath it, it had a what looks like a kind of permeable sort of looks like a kind of water plant, pond planter. It's got holes in it, and that was like a big basket really, and it's about 2 foot deep, and that went into a hole about 3 feet diameter. And the idea was that you put kitchen scraps and bones and fats and meat and cooked food and uncooked food, and it would heat up, and it would just basically turn that and food into carbon dioxide and sort of methane really, which is a bit weird. So it's more for waste disposal rather than actually composting. There isn't supposed to be a way of actually harvesting it. It just sort of reduces and kind of cooks all the scraps, and so there's nothing left. But the Hungry bin had a sort of tapered chute on it, and the idea is that you use it like a kind of conventional wormery, so you're adding food and cardboard and bedding on top, and then as that breaks down, it sort of compacts down, and it narrows it down to the bottom of the chute, and it's really that compaction that sort of holds the castings up. So what I've got here, there's a cage around the outside, and the whole thing's going to be built into like a raised bed made out of the cage. Then I'm going to pack timber and have Hugelkultur and lasagna kind of gardening, like a lasagna bed around the outside. But I'll just show you the actual harvesting part. So I've got some of these stainless steel sort of toggle catches. So that panel comes off, and then the base of another drum I've got inside, and I've put some of this car boot seal rubber strip around the outside, so it's quite nice because there aren't any sharp edges, so when you're harvesting you're not going to kind of cut yourself on there. So this is about 8 inches. It's fairly small, but it's not pushed in properly, but you can see the bottom of the cone there. So I mean it's not super accessible, but I'm thinking because that's a large volume, maybe 200 litres, you're not going to be emptying this every day. You might be emptying it once a month or something like that, or once every 3 months. And I'll use kind of part composted material to kind of speed it up as well. But what I've done on the outside of the lower drum, I've made this a bit like a kind of what do you call it, a soil feeding station as well. So when the castings, what I might do to get things kicked off, I might use this just as a whole base, as a sort of wormery too. So then all the soil life in the Hugelkultur and all the fungal activity and all the kind of detritovores and things like that will kind of move in, and then they'll start composting that material. And I'm kind of umming and ahhing about this. I want to make this a bit like a wicking bed as well. So I've drilled holes 25mm up from the base of here. I haven't done the holes on the front because I wanted to kind of make this a bit more rodent proof on this side, and then when it's buried around the other side I've got the holes down there, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to see, but yeah, you've got some holes kind of lower down as well. They're about 50mm, and the other ones are 25mm, so they'll act as drainage holes. So this is like a sort of subfloor, and I may drill this out as well, because then obviously worms will be able to kind of get through here. Or if that's nice and smooth, it's nice and easy because you can just sort of get a brush and pan in there and sweep it off. But I might just drill 6mm holes so worms can work in around the base, and then they'll get access to this. And that's going to be wet in there, but then I was thinking about having a wicking fabric that wicks the moisture up into the outside of the bed as well. So I'm still in two minds about doing that, because in a way you could actually use this as a sort of I think what I might do is I'll just kind of get a plastic liner, line it in here underneath, so you can kind of, there's only going to be 25 millimeters of moisture in maximum, so there's still going to be an air gap here. And I might even put wood chip and biochar in the bottom of there to make like a kind of carbon sort of filter. But so I've got the holes around the outside, so you can see worms and soil life will be able to get access into this, and hopefully it will be rat proof, because I'm going to have big chunks of wood over these holes here, so they're going to be like fence posts, and I might even put some brick or whatever there, and then this is going to be where that mesh is there, that's going to kind of come around the front as well. I'm kind of tempted to make a secondary door, like a kind of little wooden door that kind of go over this, and this one it's just sort of keeps any sort of smells and things in there. But that's quite a good volume, I think, because that's quite a nice depth as well, so I think that'll get things started. And then by the time the castings are in here, the worms will be working up into the top. But I mean, this is just a sort of work in progress. I may put a grate on there, so some sort of mesh or some sort of cables, and that's got a kind of flange on it as well. At the moment I haven't cut that flange off, because I'm thinking that's going to help hold that material in. But I could actually cut half of that flange off, which would stop that kind of castings getting hung up on there. But I don't know, it might not be a problem really. It makes it more secure. And I've got to make some metal straps just to kind of bolt on here, so I'll use a machine screw and have the nut and bolt. Well, the bolt head will be underneath, and then the nut will be on there, so it'll be nice and smooth in there. I may drill some holes in here as well, so kind of worms and things can work in there and then drop down into there. So it's kind of like a continuous flow through wormery, but then it's also got that sort of Hugelkultur bed around the outside. When I've installed this, I'll do another video so you can see it in situ. But that's just really just shows you the harvesting door, and then just underneath, so you've got that kind of cone poking through. There's actually a reasonable height in there. Because I've set this is 50 millimeters, so that's about 70, and then you've still got kind of like a handspan there, so it's about 8 inches. So I think that's quite easy to kind of sweep the castings out, and it doesn't matter if there's sort of bits jammed around the edges, because that are kind of, if anything, make it easier for the worms to kind of work through into the material.